Wizards of the Coast, in case you were wondering, the hate from the players, it's real. Wizards of the Coast, you did it again. You failed to understand the player base you're dealing with when you're trying to sell us new Magic the Gathering products. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. And yeah, we're talking Aftermath. Guys, this thing is not selling well. The collector boxes as well as the draft boxes here, these epilogue small boxes, they're just not cutting it. And there's lots of reasons why. Now, first off, a lot of players are not interested in most of the cards inside this set. There's a few that are interesting, and that means some of the singles are selling okay. But because there's not enough sought after cards and there's way too many variants and way too much repetition, I've done a box opening video already. You guys have seen that. There are singles players want, but that repetition means you can get 7, 8 of the same card in a single box multiple times on different card types in one little box. The price point is another issue that players have a problem with. And when you look at a box like this, any player who's been around for a while, this does remind you of things like Fallen Empires. Like back in the day, we had Fallen Empires boxes. These were 60 card boxes, 8 card booster packs, okay? And same amount of cards basically for that same price tag. Lots of repetition back then in Fallen Empires, different artworks, same card, same type of deal. It's like they rehashed it. I talked about this numerous times in earlier videos, and after I did that box opening video showing our first opening, you can kind of see that repetition forming, and it does remind me of Fallen Empires, Homelands, and the like. It's kind of crazy to think that they rehash an old idea like that, but cut the box size down to nothing and charge the same price. This is where they've really failed to recognize the mistakes they've made at the 30th anniversary. They failed to understand the player anger, frustration, and hate. It's just under the surface. Now, we gave them way. We gave them some room because players like Dominaria United. They like the Brothers War. Phyrexia All Will Be One. All those sets are selling and did sell well. The singles are still being bought now. They're still being played in arena, in card shops. It's going well. March the Machine sales are petering out a little bit earlier than they should, but there's still some good cards in there. A lot of fun to be had on a good draft night. And this as the follow-up, it just seems like a little nail that you stepped on and you're really upset about it, and you know it shouldn't have happened. It was like careless and not thoughtful, and you weren't looking around, and that's what Wizards did. They weren't looking around when they gave us stuff like this. They thought we'd buy into it. They were trying to find a way to just curve their profit margins a little bit more, and it's going to cost them in this case. And unfortunately, it's also going to cost your local LGS because they're going to be stuck with these products. They're going to have them sitting on the shelves. Now, the good news is all the stores I dealt with, and welcome to the new stores, give me the data. I know, no names, but hey, there's 41 of you guys out there now, so thanks again. It is good to see that those stores didn't get too much exposure. They kept their numbers a little bit lower, knowing they didn't want to get too far in debt into this type of product, and they knew it probably wouldn't sell well. And that, I mean, I guess it sits at the distribution level, and that also is probably why, Wizards of the Coast cut the pricing down early. They knew they'd missed the price point, and they slashed the prices. And when you think about those collector boxes, they're gonna fall in price. They can't hold at that level because the sales are too low, and stores, even Amazon, they're probably gonna have a sale at some point. Keep your eyes out for that. But it's going to be the singles that drive this one. And that's not enough to keep the players on side for a product like this in the future. You can expect a product like this probably to die on the vine. There are so many better ways they could have instituted a product like this. We've talked about it on the channel numerous ways. And I mean, why don't you just do a 100 card set and make a few of them harder to get on the track run? Like, I saw so many copies of cards already, so many repetitious cards coming up that nothing seemed rare. I don't care about what variant you give me, what different card art framework you give. They all seem common to me. Although the artwork's beautiful, I have no problem with the R&D department for creating this set and putting these things together. It's the marketing and the pricing behind it and how they did it. It's a fail. And the players are angry about it. I mean, the stores are angry. I've talked to local players at a few of the stores this weekend. It's not going well. Yes, there are people still buying the odd pack. That's interesting, right? I knew that was kind of going to happen because you're sitting there, you got a $5 bill, you're like, let's just buy a pack and see what happens. because there's training grounds, there's some fun cards in there, there's a few mythics people want in these depowered planeswalkers, but it's not enough. A couple of packs here and there is not going to be enough. It took Fallen Empires and Homelands 25 years to finally recover and have the stocks of those boxes dwindle. People used to be able to buy those packs for 50 cents, 75 cents, and they still weren't opening them. I bet you Epilogue, it's going to end up going the same way. It's unavoidable. Now, in the future, do we think a product like this will be accepted by the players with some tweaks? Probably not. Wizards of the Coast will probably try to tweak something like this in the future. They're not ready to give up on a game design like this right away, just like the theme boosters, pardon me, became like the Jumpstart. Now they finally killed off the Jumpstart series. This will probably have another kick at the can with a few modifications, and they'll see if it can fly. Now, when we look at the player base and the financial attitude of players right now, so many players I know have kind of been buying more reserve list cards. I did a video on Sunday about that for the top 10 reserve list cards. If you go back and look at that video, I do discuss it a little bit more in depth of what's happening behind the scenes on a lot of these sales on the reserve list, because why would I buy this for $100 Canadian when I can go get Time Spiral? When I can go and buy myself a Metal Worker? Like, you're talking old school cards 30 years old, or a new product with no value. That failure to recognize that market has led Wizards to put out no value in the products they're putting out right now. They need to keep their track run printing a little bit lower. They need to lower the print runs overall to build up a little bit of scarcity, and they've got to do better card designs that are a little bit more difficult to get. And fix the card quality. It's the easiest thing to do. Don't have Creed from The Office doing your spot checks at the mill. Guys, they need to fix the card quality. I think we can all agree on that. We've done this numerous times in the channel and other channels. It is one of the easiest things they could do. Give us flat foils, cut the foil production by 50%, like every player's been asking for, cut the variants down a little bit to find the sweet spot, and let us enjoy the product. Let us have a product that actually will sit flat on the board and doesn't have all kinds of errors on it. Everyone can understand the 1 or 2 errors that come up, Wizards, but not whole boxes filled with this stuff. It's ridiculous. And this is where the company continues to fail. Like 30th anniversary and after 30th, the post 30th anniversary crowd of Magic is totally different. They know they have more power than they ever thought was possible in how they choose to affect the company. That basically works for them. They may say they work for their investors, but if we don't buy the product, they're going to fix it, aren't they? If all of a sudden 100,000 players don't buy a product, they're going to try to find a way to get us to buy that product, and they will try to find a way. They will not give up. They will keep finding the easiest way to get a product to us. And that means if they have to throw us a bone and give us something good, they will. At least the one time. And that's the players now have control like that. And players used to not realize how much control they have, but the internet has made it that much easier for players to talk and have conversations and talk to other players and other playgroups in other areas of the world to get a consensus of information. This is what that company fears the most. And I think it's about time. Because we love the game, but they're bad stewardships of that game. They do it so poorly sometimes. And you know it's intentional, you know it's a greed thing. And I understand capitalism and they're allowed to do what they want because it's their game. You guys go ahead. But the players will decide which products to buy. And this one apparently is not going to sell very well. It's actually going to sell less than well. But the singles are going to hold their own. There are players who are going to buy them. The few that are desired by players are going to get bought. Will it crash a lot of values of cards like Training Grounds? Absolutely. It's going to bring those values down to 0. But it's okay because a lot of players did want to get their hands on that. They do want to own some of these cards. And Wizards of the Coast can always make a new card. They have an infinite chalkboard of ideas they can put into effect if they need to. But if they do it more effectively and they manage their resources better, they will get the players back on side. Start with the card quality. Cut down on the errors. Make the prices be appropriate for the product you're giving us and the value contained in that product. And I guarantee Wizards, you'll see better results. I hope Wizards watches this video. I really hope somebody out there has to watch a Moxman video on this topic, because when you have this many people telling you something, maybe it's time to fix it. Maybe it's not us It's you. It's like a bad relationship, right? It's not me. It's you. You know? Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys can leave some comments in the comment section how you feel about this and how Wizards is bringing things forward right now. Because this is not the norm it should be. You think they would have learned their lesson by now? And yes, I know I can just imagine what people are going to say in the comments section, but I want to see it anyway, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in and allowing me to entertain you here on the channel. And for everyone who's been hitting that subscribe button, we're getting closer to that 20K each and every day. So keep putting those subscribes up there. Give these videos a thumbs up, and we are going to get there together to that 20,000 subscriber party. It's going to be epic. All right, guys, have a great day. And a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons I have supporting this channel. You guys don't know how lucky I am every day to be able to talk with you and do these videos. And it's all because the patron supporters. Thanks again, patrons. You guys are amazing. Here we are. We're at the end. Thanks a lot for tuning in. This is the Ramble Damble. Glad y'all made it out. Nachos and cheese, Taco Fridays, and everything else is good. You look at all the, this is all kinds of mythics from those first box openings that have to go back to 4-1 games. Like, I like the frames. I like some of these cards. Like Tyvar, where it says, you know, he's 1 black, 1 green, 2 other. He's a 5/4 legendary elf warrior. Whenever 1 or more elves you control attack, they gain death touch and end of turn. That's cool, man. Nahiri, Forged by Fury. The artwork, the card design, I mean, she costs 6 for a 5/4. She's not nearly that good. I know her equipment stuff's good, but you look at Samut, right? Samut's not bad, guys. It's not bad. It's a 2/3 for 1 green, 1 red, and 1 other. It's got first strike, vigilance, and haste. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, if that creature enters the battlefield this turn, draw a card. That's kind of cool. You put a lot of haste creatures together, you can have some fun with this thing. As a commander, as a card in play, some of these cards aren't bad. The design is not awful. I really think these should have been in March of the Machine, honestly. But I can see as a second standalone set, it's not the end of the world. Some of these cards are going to play okay. They're just not enough for the players nowadays. That's the problem. The players are riled up from the 30th anniversary. From that price gouging that everything just went wrong. And it may just be the vocal minority on YouTube who watches the videos and comments on it, but there's still the silent group out there who are still going to buy the product, but are still grumbling about it. They're buying single packs, but they're not happy with how the company is doing things. They want more prize support. They want more tournaments at their LGSs. They want to be able to go and enjoy the game and not have to fork out an arm and a leg. And no, they can't have everything. I get that, but it's interesting to see how the game's evolved in the last year and a bit. There's just such a change in the attitude of players. And I don't always talk about it now because people get tired of hearing it, but it does come up. And it's there now. It permeates the air. Where like you know it when you see people talking. And you ask them a few questions here and there. Oh, you decided to buy this? Like, why'd you pick up this single? And like, well, those products are too expensive. It's cheaper to buy a single. I went and bought, I saw one of your videos and I bought this or I bought that off the reserve list. It was cheaper to buy. It's just a different attitude nowadays. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here and listening to the ramble at the end. I think the boxes are cute. I mean, I don't know how you draft with those things, but it'd still be fun to try, I guess. Maybe 2 people both getting like 12 packs. I don't know, something like that. Thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. Looking forward to seeing you guys soon. Have an awesome day. We deserve it. Have an awesome day. And bring a friend to Magic.